It
Yeah.
becomes a problem
Mhm.
if they graduate and study for 4 or 5 years, and during that 4 to 5 years, that which they were striving for became obsolete. That's
Mm.
a problem, isn't it?
Yes.
Look at what you already have. Consider what you've already done and review it.
Mm.
And you might find value in what you've already done and what you've already got that you didn't realize the fullness thereof. So do a stock take before you go out to do something new, because you might find out you're going out looking for something that you already have. Okay? Happy Thursday to each and every one of you, irrespective of where you are in the world. Thank you for agreeing to share space and time with us. We want to have a very detailed discussion this evening with you, if you don't mind. And we were discussing this earlier on in the week, and we had to push it up our line of priority to have this conversation this week, because when you look at the way how the world is going at breakneck pace towards automation. And every day you cannot turn on your television or your radio or go on to one of your smart devices and look at the news and not hear about the advancement of AI. That is the most probably used word in everyday AI, 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 AI. And you're hearing about all of these wonderful supercomputers being created. And even when you look at the way how wars are being fought nowadays, most of the bombs that are used are from drones. Could you imagine this 10 years ago, 20 years ago? You'd have never imagined that. Our view of warfare was, somebody flying in a contraption or an airplane or some kind of flying object and dropping, deadly bombs and whatnot on their targets. But nowadays, most of these devices and most of these weapons of mass destructions are actually unmanned, right? So obviously, if those pilots have not been retrained, then they're out of luck, right? So the pilots must have known that this was coming to replace them. So therefore, a wise pilot would have made provisions to retrain his or herself for a different kind of job, right? So the same is true for you and me, and for those of us on this call. The way how the world is working, the way the world is working in a way that it is trying to really maneuver into a place and into a position where it minimizes the need for us as human beings on a basic level.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that there's no room for you or no room for me. It means if we are on and think we can stay on a basic level, then those form of employment are being done away with. And it's bad, but it is also good. And why is it good? Because we're being challenged to raise our level of expectation of our own accomplishments. Are you following me?
Mhm.
So if you're at university, you're at college, there are certain jobs you would do on the weekend or in the evening to make ends meet, that you don't mind doing whilst you're studying, right? The problem starts is if you graduate and you're still doing those kind of jobs. You following me?
Mhm.
many of the young people who are in their sixth form or who are at uni, because we're going into the summer holidays, are looking for some kind of work, right? Generally in department stores, waitering, coffee shops, because they just want some extra money. They still have funds from their parents or from the government may give them a grant. So they have some money, but they want some extra money because they may want to travel for the summer. They may want to buy a few things, for their apartment when they go back to uni. But that is just a short term vocation, right? Agreed?
Agreed.
It
Yeah.
becomes a problem
Mhm.
if they graduate and study for 4 or 5 years. And during that 4 to 5 years, that which they were striving for became obsolete. That's a problem, isn't it?
Yes.
So if we was to go through a list of vocations that have become obsolete in the last 10 years, we could put together a mighty long list. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday and I was saying to them, please don't send me an email because they were going to send me a very important document. And I said, send it to my text so I can receive it on my watch. So I know you sent it because I'll see it pop up. Okay. And I said to them, I miss the days. I miss the days when you could have sent me a fax so that when I, return to my home, I would have a printed copy of the document in my fax machine. So I don't have to go online and open up a document and then print it. You could have faxed it to me and I could have gone to my fax and looked at all of my documents versus reading all my emails. Because me reading the fax that's printed out is kind of on my eyes than email.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
So there are many advancements. Some of them are very good and others are not the best. Yeah.
Right.
And there's also a lot of trial and there's a lot of error. Okay. So let's see. And I want you to ask yourself, you know what you do for a living, right? Right?
I hope so.
And the question is, can you, or has there been talk of your form of employment? You started a poll.
Yeah, I took it down. Sorry.
Okay, your area of employment. Have you heard any talk about that? That particular area of employment, being replaced by AI or some other form of technology. Have you heard any talk? Well, any of you who are taxi drivers or Uber drivers, you do know that there are great plans for taxis and for these type of vehicles to be automated and for them to be driverless, right? So you'll probably see in the next 5 years, most of the cars on the street will be driverless. And there is a method to the madness of when we're trying to drive on these streets and the speed limits have been reduced to 20 miles an hour. That's not for you or for me. That is for what's coming.
Yes.
You following me? And what is coming are driverless cars. You might be taking over someone soon. When you look, you be beeping, telling the car to go faster. And then when you look over, there's no one in the driver's seat. that will curtail your road rage. You'll end up punching a robot, right? Or thin air. Hilarious. So with that said, I want to ask all of you a question that I'm about to load up and share my screen with you. So give this some thought. Please put a 1 in the chat if you are currently accumulating any form of wealth at this current moment whilst we're on this Zoom call? Did your income stop at 5 o'clock when you when you left work, or are you still earning money now as we speak? Let's have a quick poll to see what we're working with this evening. Okay, so the vast majority are not earning as you're on this call, but you are earning because you're getting some information. Okay, so you can end that poll because it's okay. So, dear family, how important do you think it is for us to be able to earn whilst we rest? Is that important? Can you hear me?
Highly in my estimation.
Yeah.
Let's just drill down on that just a little bit. Let's just drill down on that a little bit, because we're speaking about the importance of various different streams of income. Now, if we know our vocation and our livelihood is under threat, then this form of passive income is really to help us. That, you wouldn't be the first person to have gone to work and then somebody calls you into an office and says, we've got to make cuts, and unfortunately your department is going to be cut, and it is with great regret that we have to give you a month's notice. Have any of you ever heard that before? Some of you, they just get rid of you the same day, right? They didn't even give you a month. I gave you 7 days. So if that is the case, and obviously if we're not the owners of the business, we cannot necessarily determine our fate. Then if that cloud is hanging over our heads, then we've got to make provisions for such. Would you not agree?
Yeah.
If you agree, just put a 1 in the chat. So having different streams of income is really a survival kit and preparing ourselves for the inevitable. Okay? So let's look. Let's look. So before we go fully into our conversation and discussion for today, I wanted to have a look at mindset. Yeah? Mindset. Because in order to have a full-time job and then start another form of employment where you are the author of it, really, and creating another stream of income, whether you're the author of it or you're helping somebody else and they're remunerating you accordingly, you're going to have to prepare your mind for such. Wouldn't you think?
Definitely.
So let's look at the preparation. What's your thoughts, Silvina, in regards to the importance of, whilst we're here, at least we've got a couple of pounds moving around, coming or being accumulated on our behalf? How important do you think that is?
It's highly important for all the reasons that you've just said, and I think financial security not only offers you a peace of mind, but enables you to actually be creative and to take those kinds of risks where the real money is. So it's crucial.
Okay, so let's have a look at this biblical scripture here, where it speaks about the great man Jesus, whose name is mentioned so much. He had an economic message also, right? And one of the things that he said in Matthew 8:20 was, foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. So he was walking past in the street men and women who were homeless. And do we have homeless people who believe in God today? Can I hear you?
I would imagine.
We have homeless people
Yeah.
who believe in God. Wouldn't you say their connection must be very weak? Like sometimes your image will buffer, and you know your sound may go out. It may be because you've got a weak internet signal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're on the phone and the
Yeah.
call drops because you call it a dead spot. But if you have, what they call it, 5G and a good internet connection, you can get through areas that other people can't connect in, right?
Yes.
If we say we believe in the Most High, don't you think we should have some resources to prove our connection, right?
Definitely.
If somebody said to you that Jeff Bezos was your great uncle, we wouldn't expect you to have holes in your shoes, would we?
No, sir.
And if you got holes in your
Not at
shoes, it
all.
means you're very loosely connected to Jeff. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Jeff gives
Yes, sir.
away hundreds of millions every year. And you can't get a pair of shoes from Jeff. It's the connection is weak. So let us look at our connection and not our excuses, if you don't mind. Yeah?
Yeah.
So we want to focus more so on mindset first and foremost. Yeah? So let's look at this word that is bandied about so much, entrepreneurship. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, don't they? So let's look at entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the process of designing, launching and running a new business, which is often initially a small business. That's how you start out. The people who create these businesses are generally called entrepreneurs. So they start off with a small business, a small idea. They invent something and then they scale it over a period of time. And there are some people who are just good at having good ideas, but they lack the ability to move the business from, say, stage 1 to stage 2, 3, 4. Okay. And this is where others come in. And if you're proud, you will think that you can do everything. But if you're wise, you will know when to seek strategic help. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this entrepreneurship is very, very important. And I just want to drill down a bit more on some of the various definitions of such word. Yeah. So we can also look at entrepreneurship. Hold on one second. Let me bring it up on my screen. Has been described as the capacity and willingness to develop, organize, and manage a business venture along with any of its risks to make a profit or to make the business profitable. Because you don't just want to have a business that's just breaking even. At some point, it has to start to become profitable. Yeah?
Yes.
Because to the degree that the business becomes profitable, it's at that point you can start to consider moving away from other commitments that you may work for somebody else and you want to invest more time into your own business, but you can only do that once it starts to bring forth a profit. Okay. And the profit being on a level to at least cover your rent, cover your petrol, cover your insurance, and cover your transportation, and these basic things, and obviously your food and clothing. Yeah. So it's not wise to be extravagant during the times that you're trying to establish a new business. The two do not go hand in hand, okay? Because you'll end up depleting whatever resources you have in your reserve whilst you're trying to create an income, which doesn't make any sense, okay? Now, again, when you look further at this word entrepreneur, hold on a minute, jumping a bit too far ahead here. And you look further at this word, we can look at it a bit deeper. A broader definition of the term is something used, especially in the field of economics. So in this usage, an entrepreneur is an entity which has the ability to find and act upon opportunities to translate inventions or technologies into products and services. So you're creating a market, or you're sufficing a need in a particular marketplace, right? You're providing a service that is needed. So the entrepreneur is able to recognize the commercial potential of the invention and organize the capital to raise the funds to suffice the need, okay, or to provide the service, talent, and other resources that turn an invention into a commercially viable innovation, okay? Innovation, very important word, and we'll go deeper into that in a few minutes. In this sense, the term entrepreneurship also captures innovative activities on the part of established firms, in addition to similar activities on the part of new businesses, okay? So an entrepreneur really is somebody who comes in, or when they're present, they can spot things, they can realize needs before needs are perceived. And because they realize and can see the need before it's perceived by the vast majority, they're able to suffice that need. And for sufficing that need, there is a financial benefit that comes with it. And a service is then offered to the masses of the people, or to those who are within a particular catchment, okay? Now, go ahead.
I think they were just agreeing with you.
Okay. So again, just before we go into some alternative income streams, we want to look at mindset, okay? Because if you don't adjust your mindset, then you're not going to be successful in whatever you try to achieve.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, brother. I don't know how that happened. Still muted.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, so pardon me. So let's look at economics first. And what is economics? And economics is a social science concerned with the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services, okay? So when you hear people speak about economics, that's what they're speaking about. Production, the provision of something for consideration, inspection or use, distribution, the action or process of supplying goods to a retailer, consumption, the purchase of goods and services to the public, to the public of goods and services also. So, Silvina, how are you seeing the importance for the majority of us who are on this call or may not be on this call? Why is it important for us to have a baseline understanding of economics as you see it on the board?
Well, it's it brings me back to the masterclass when you're talking about what actual entrepreneurship is, and our relationship with money. when you speak of things like innovation, it's very difficult to be innovative or creative or bold even when you're concerned about basic finances, when your survival is under threat daily, it's very difficult to be innovative. And our relationship with money, not just the income bracket that we fall in, but also our relationship with money really is one of the main things that will hold us back. So our financial literacy, reconditioning of our mindset towards finances is definitely necessary. And it's not necessarily about, and we've seen this many, many times before, and it came up in the masterclass as well, that, a lot of these blue chip companies started with nothing. They didn't start with major collateral. They actually started with people with very little funds, but their mindset towards money, their approach to money and finance was what enabled them to have that vision and tenacity to go forward and build the empire that they have. So it's crucial.
So, just to add to what you've just said there, the importance of providing a service and sufficing a need. And we should always have our antennas up to see what is needed,
Yeah.
not just in our communities, but in the country in which we live, and then more broad throughout the world. Okay? Because whether we know it or not, all of us are actually born into the world at this time to fix one of the problems that the society is plagued with. Are you with me? Every generation is equipped to resolve all of the problems of their time. So the question is, are you of the mind, or are you even considering that you have a big job to play in fixing one of the problems that are plaguing the society in which you live? But in order to start thinking like that, you and I have got to consider the thought of what is self-mastery, just in line with what you were just saying, Sylvina, the mastery of self. And when you look at mastering yourself, mastering oneself is to have the ability to take control of one's life without being blown off course by feelings, urges, or circumstances. Self-mastery is that condition whereby your body is your servant and not your master. Self-mastery. So the ability for us to focus is key. And if we've got one eye on becoming or being made obsolete through the work that we currently do and the work that pays our bills, if one day that will cease to exist, and it may be closer than you think, then it's going to be important for us to start nurturing some new streams of income, right?
Yes.
Because the sudden shock of your income just drying up can be quite devastating if you're not prepared for it and if you haven't made provisions for it. Yeah?
Yeah.
So we don't want to be shocked into reality. We want to take advantage of being warned in advance so that we can make provisions, or we can set provisions for a soft landing as opposed to a crash landing. Yeah? So if we're going to start to build income streams, we're going to need to be innovative. Yes? Innovative. So innovation essentially means generally it refers to changing processes or creating more effective processes, products, and ideas. Being innovative. Let me share my screen with you. fact, let me leave that for a second because I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty with that. So we might have to go to your slide, Silvina. But there's just a couple of more points that I just want to share with you before we go into some of the things that you can do. Now, innovation is key. And if you're going to start anything, you have to have some resources, right? Resources.
Yes, sir.
Without
Yes, sir,
resources,
absolutely.
you do nothing. And resources can represent a stockpile or supply of finances. That's a resource, yes. Materials, staff, or other assets that can be drawn on by a person or organization in order to function effectively. Resources. The problem today is resources are abundant. However, spiritual consciousness is limited. Therefore, our resources perpetuate the same economic system that we experienced of our bodies being put forward for hire, but our minds are not being developed. So some of us can work in organizations and work and do particular jobs for 10, 20, 30 years and still be dependent exclusively on that employer. Now, anything you do for 10, 15, 20 years is supposed to render you the accolade of being a master.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Even if you just spat for 20 years.
It's true.
You with me?
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
It's very,
Yes,
very-
sir.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes, sir.
use
Right.
a knife
Yes,
and
sir. Yes, sir.
fork for 20 years. No one shouldn't be embarrassed to take you to dinner. You shouldn't be embarrassed to go to dinner, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, be good.
On
If
point,
someone
brother.
takes you to a Japanese restaurant and you're not accustomed to using chopsticks, then you might ask for a fork.
Yes, sir.
But the Chinese person who's been using chopsticks from they were a baby, they can pick up rice with chopsticks.
Come on
You
now.
can't even grab a chicken. So mastery comes through, repetition.
Yes.
And the more we repeat something over and over and over again is the more effective we become at that thing, right?
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
That's
Yeah.
right, brother.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
So living life is something we have to gain mastery over. And we can't keep making the same mistakes over and over again lest we don't learn. And life is for learning.
Yeah.
So we can't just, focus our mind on being spiritual beings where we're so, happy with our spiritual growth, but then we can't buy a bag of chips. Something's wrong with that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Absolutely, sir.
No doubt
Yes,
about
sir.
Yes, sir.
You didn't get
That's
quiet
yes,
on me,
sir.
did you?
Yes, sir.
Did you get quiet on me?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No,
You
sir.
think your God is pleased with you when you bellow his name with sincerity and you can't buy a bag of chips?
Teach,
Something wrong
brother.
with that,
Teach,
right?
teach. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's try and
Absolutely.
see how we can get a bag of chips.
Yes, sir.
At
Absolutely.
least.
Let's
A
go.
worthy goal.
So let me share my screen with you.
Yes, sir.
Let me share my screen. Because look, most of us have a wealth of knowledge, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But
That's
we
true.
cannot translate the knowledge into a lifestyle.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. That's right.
So if the wealth is only in the books
Yes.
that's behind you or in front of you, then we have to learn to translate that into something else, right? So look
Yes,
here.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Monetize it. That's right.
So read what's on the board. Silvina, read that for me.
Income stream, sale sell your books if you are not using them.
That's an income
Oh,
stream.
wow.
That's true.
Mm.
It's
That's right.
pointless you reading the scripture where you say your
Mhm.
most greatest book is your Bible and your Quran, but you can't buy a bag of chips.
That's right.
Maybe after reading the book, you need to take notes and then sell it and buy some chips.
Sounds like a plan.
So, yeah, you can start right there. That's right.
Good plan.
Yes, sir.
Look, your brother's trying to be practical here, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
That's right. As always.
Because we have the information, but we're lacking the ability to convert what we know,
Mhm. Mm.
okay?
Yes, sir.
So let's look further, then we're going to go into some other areas. If you've all heard the term generational wealth, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And if we're struggling to buy a bag of chips, pointless talking about generational wealth, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, not ready yet. That's right.
Okay, so let's look then. Let's look at what generational wealth is. Generational wealth is building or starts with the owning of things that increase in value. Yeah, over
Yeah.
time. So what could that be? Give me some for instances.
Land.
Post some things in the chat or speak up.
Yeah. Yeah, post some things in the chat or speak up. What do you have currently now that is increasing in value?
Land.
Land.
That might be property.
Property.
Does it depend on where the land or where the property is? Or is that not even a consideration?
It does depend.
Partially.
Location is key. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can be.
Partially. Mhm.
Just the returns obviously will higher if the location is better, but generally speaking, it increases in value.
Mm.
Good. And if anybody else, what increases with value?
Real estate.
Real
Gold.
estate. I want you to, those of you on the call, I'm gonna take this down. I want you to speak to something that you have that is increasing in value.
Silver.
You have some
Precious
silver.
metals.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Precious
Anybody
metals.
else?
Mhm.
Life
Land.
insurance.
Silver.
Say again? What was that?
Life insurance.
Life insurance. Very good. Anybody else?
Skills.
Ooh, your heels, your high heels, did you say?
High heels. Skills, things that
Oh,
you've learned
skills.
that you're going to
Okay,
develop.
good.
Yeah, and the ongoing use of them. Yes.
Let me ask you this question. What about your life?
Ooh.
Of course. That's all
Come
part
on
of it,
now.
isn't it, really?
No,
You
that's
keep
not
yourself
course,
healthy.
because some people are getting sicker by the day
Mm.
Keep
Mm.
healthy. Yeah.
opposed to healthier by the day.
Yes, sir.
And if we're not taking care of ourselves, then our memories might be waning as opposed to strengthening.
Yes.
It could be the value of our lives is diminishing, but what assets do we have that are increasing?
Mm.
That somebody, one of your family or somebody, a dear person somebody you hold dear to yourself will inherit after you go. Say that again.
I'm on the Zoom.
Yeah, she's on the Zoom, so leave her alone. So,
Yes,
give me something real quick, because we're going to move on.
So we have art,
Business.
jewelry in the
No,
chat.
but I want you to tell me what you have, where you have considered leaving something of value to somebody you love, admire, or want to invest in.
Trust fund.
Trust fund, very good. Anybody else? Do you have a
Land,
piece
sir.
of art? None of you mentioned any gold.
Oh,
They did in the
Yeah,
chat.
it's in
Yeah,
the chat.
someone
You
did say
mentioned.
gold.
It's in the chat.
Okay,
Yeah, they
Yes.
did.
Yes.
Minerals.
Yeah.
okay.
Precious metals, we said.
Precious metals, very good.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Okay. And I'm going to
NFT,
push.
sir.
Say that again.
NFT.
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 It depends on what it is, right? So let's look at this one, this slide. I want you to look at this one real quick. What do you currently have that will increase?
Sorry, the knowledge you have that you
The knowledge that you have that what? that you can pass on to others.
Pass on to
Yeah, you're breaking up. Poor connection. So let's look at it. What do you currently have that will increase in value if maintained for the next 90 years? That's a question. For the next 90 years. If not much, then this is a starting point for us tonight, right?
That's right.
We cannot live exclusively for us, as our bodies will not increase in value once the spirit leaves it. Yeah?
Yes,
A
sir.
dead body
Fair
is not
point.
worth much. So when we pass, people are not looking to our bodies. People are looking to see what we left them. Okay?
Yes, sir. That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
So let's have a quick look at some of these professions that we can consider. Have you ever thought about doing something with pets? Who likes pets in the audience? Put a 1 in the chat.
But if we like pets,
Yeah. Have you ever thought of how much money is in the pet industry? Do you know that they have a service that you can offer to those who are desirous of getting married, that you can actually offer them a service to look after their dogs and bring their dogs to the wedding?
wow. No.
seen
You
it.
didn't know that.
No, I did not know that. No.
And you can actually be paid extra to stay with the dog overnight.
Wow.
Wow.
You don't believe me?
I'm not saying that. I never,
Believe you,
Okay.
never
I'm
imagine
going to
Hold
give
on.
you a receipt. Let me give you a receipt. But I don't like this image, but hey, you asked for it. Wedding pet chaperone.
Wow.
Wow.
How about that?
Seen
Man.
it done. I've been to a wedding where that's happened. So yeah, they were paid
Okay,
well.
so I've got a witness, credible witness.
Absolutely.
So look at this, wedding pet chaperone service.
Hmm.
Many of us would love to listen to the sales pitch. Many of us would love to include our pets on our wedding day. I don't think so. However,
Agreed.
the complications of having a good time, looking after family and friends, and performing in the inevitable, Grease medley prevents us from giving the normal amount of attention to our VIPs, right? So we can help. We can help. We can help. We can help make sure no one misses out on the fun with our wedding pet chaperone service and one of our VIP wedding packages. We offer a range of services with one of our experienced, professional, and friendly wedding pet chaperone, taking care of all of your pet's needs, from collecting your pet on the big day and bringing him or her to the ceremony, to overnight care and the night of the wedding.
Wow.
Look at the packages.
Wow.
The I Do package includes a pre-wedding meeting to discuss your plans for the day, collecting your pet on the day, making sure the pet is looking their best on the day, with a quick tidy up groom, being present at the ceremony reception and for photos. In walking and playing with your pet before and after the ceremony, returning your pet home or to a relative or friend. Now, you didn't even think about that industry, did you?
Absolutely
Not a
not.
thought. Not a
But
thought.
you can see on the left
Imagination.
how
No,
much
sir.
the woman loves her dog.
Yes.
Don't they just?
So anybody who loves
Man's
their
best
pet like
friend.
that, then the pet is a part of the family.
Yes.
And again, just the last bit of that slide is typically this is a 6-hour day with extra £50 per hour after that on top of the bill. So wedding pet chaperone travel expenses include within 20 miles of central London. The forever after package adds Okay.
Yes.
Now, if these are some of the options that are available to us, then you might not necessarily, do you have to be a dog lover in your thoughts to actually run that business?
No.
You're off camera, brother.
Sorry.
Ah, here you are.
Do you have to be a dog lover or an animal lover to run that business?
No.
No.
Do you think that that is a lucrative business?
Certainly.
Absolutely.
Certainly is.
And could you not start that business with the people who live on your street right now?
Yes.
What I just gave you was a template,
Mm.
and you could replicate the template, and you can go out, tomorrow or next week and start to, canvas the interest on your street.
Yes.
That's right.
And if your neighbors have more dogs than cats or more cats than dogs, then you tailor your, business model accordingly, right?
Yes.
And then what do you need to do? Because remember, you're not the person who is an animal person. So what's the next step?
Employee.
Employ someone.
Hire someone who is.
Is to find that person in your family who loves animals.
That's right. Yes.
Yes.
Because there's always one who's a natural.
Yes.
And do you think there is a university out there that trains people how to walk dogs?
Absolutely.
You don't go to university to learn that. To train the dogs, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But to walk them, no. No. You just have to have that natural inclination where you just love dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to have.
I have a family member who just loves dogs, and I'm the complete opposite, right?
Me too.
And I was with a very famous man one day, and I was at his home, and I was there with this family member, and this man had this very big dog. The dog was a German Shepherd, and he named the dog Pharaoh. But the dog was his guard dog. And it used to walk back and forth in his drive. It was a guard dog. When this family member came with me to the house, it went right up to the dog. And within 15 seconds, had the dog on his back, and he was rubbing the dog's stomach. And the man got so angry because his guard dog was turned into a pussycat. And how was the family member able to do that? Because he just has a natural affinity with the animal.
That's that energy. Yes.
And the animal recognized him as his master.
Yes. Yes.
And he was able to utilize his mastery over the animal. So let's look at some other areas, Silvina, that we can consider starting, a business and add to the various streams that we're currently enjoying. How many of you like to go on holiday? Can I see your hands?
Love it.
Absolutely.
Okay, put a one in the chat if you like to travel.
Life ambition.
Who likes to capture the sacred moments when you're away? It could just be a sunset. It could just be anything. Do you like to take pictures?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever thought of sharing the pictures that you take and getting paid for them?
No.
Ooh.
So,
Sharing.
so
No.
if we told you
Hmm.
that there is an industry where you can upload your pictures, okay, online,
Mm-hmm.
and anybody who wants to use your picture, they will have to pay you. Would you be
Wow.
willing to share some of your photo album?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, I want you to do the research after we finish.
Yes, indeed.
Sir.
And look at how you can make a passive income through advertising your pictures.
Mm.
Many of you who are graphic designers, you go online and you want to use certain images. You have to buy these images. They're called stock photos.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there
Yeah.
are these agencies who buy up pictures and put them in their stock room. Okay. And they sell them accordingly. That's why you may click on certain pictures. And then when you try to download it, it comes scrambled because it doesn't allow you to use it without paying a price. And if you end up using a picture without permission of the owner, then you can be sued.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't be sued if there wasn't some kind of legal structure behind that post. So if you think this is something that is very easy to do, that you wouldn't mind exploring, put a 0 in the chat.
Definitely.
So Sylvina, do you wanna upload your images or share a few other alternatives with our audience whilst we're here?
Come in.
And those of you in the chat, if you have any questions, please raise your hands. I don't want to speak at 100 miles an hour and you have things that you want to discuss, because this is interactive tonight, if you don't mind. Yeah?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, and a few ideas that have come up, and we're looking at really, I'd say low threshold ideas where the startup costs is quite minimal. And that is, when we look at passive income, part of that is part of the definition is that although it may take time and finances to set it up, whilst as time goes by, the effort that you put into it and the time that you put into it should be minimal, hence it being passive. So we had a few ideas. So there was one of those is premium space hire, so hiring premium space. Now that doesn't mean necessarily you need to have a penthouse, but in your home, if I don't know how many of you have been onto Airbnb lately, but there's a booming trend, and we actually did mention this before it became such a trend where people are less short-term letting bedrooms in their home. So weekend stays, just a bedroom and they go, I mean, in London, they go anywhere from £90 per night. That's the lowest I've seen. So £90 per night just for someone checking in at 4, checking out at 11, potentially using the shared.
Sylvina, there's a problem with that.
Yeah.
Far too many of us have watched Friday the 13th. Or we've watched The Exorcist, we've watched Carrie, and we've watched these horror films and think that if we rent a room, someone's going to dismember us and we're not going to be able to enjoy the benefits, right? Even though everybody else gets away with it, we just that mindset. Not in my house. Is there anybody like that? Put a 2 in the audience.
Yes.
Sister she could be down to her last dollar. She not renting her room to nobody. Okay.
No strangers
So
in
Brianna, you have your hand up. I want to take your question.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, Brianna.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Hey, wa alaikum salam.
So we're taught that like our gifts will make room for us. What advice, I guess, would you have for us taking those gifts and making it into something that we want to do, but we don't know how to actualize it? Does that make sense?
It does make sense that we know what we want to do, but we lack the competence in actualizing it or making it flesh, right?
Yes, correct.
Now, there's 2 points to that. The first point is this some new invention that nobody has done before? Or whether it's something that others currently do? And if it's a brand new invention, then you have to be careful who you share the information with. Okay? And you have to have what they call a non-disclosure agreement. So if I'm going to share with you my thoughts and my plans, you've got to sign a document that you will not try and steal my idea. And if in a year, 2 years, 10 years, you just appear somewhere with my idea, I have a document, a contract that I can use, to prosecute you in a court of law to receive compensation for you misusing the information I shared with you in confidence. Yeah?
Yes,
If
sir.
it's something that somebody else has already done, then all you need to do is align yourself with the best in that field. It's like saying, for instance, okay, you can see yourself setting up a coffee shop where you sell Blue Mountain coffee, okay, or the best coffee, only coffee from Ethiopia. You want to popularize African coffee, yeah? Then if you want to set up a coffee chain, then it would be wise to go and work for Starbucks to learn experience. Yeah? For
Right.
Costa or one of these big chains, you have to humble yourself and go into the shop and be an employee. But you're right, your reason for being there is to learn how the system works. Yeah? And you should give yourself 3 to 6 months. You don't have to be full-time, you can be part-time, but you're learning the system, not just how it works, but also how to appreciate your employees. You with me?
Sir.
And you get a chance to also appreciate how constant or how short-lived those type of jobs are. Like, for instance, in the coffee business, people may come and work in your coffee shop for a month, 6 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 months, and the average lifespan may be 3 months. It's a mass turnover type of employment. And if you're not aware of these things, then your business is not going to be successful. So you want to be armed with as much information as you possibly can before you raise your head and invest your money. Okay? Because it might be an idea that you want to pursue in your mind, but after working in a coffee shop for 3 weeks or 3 months, 3 to 6 months, you might scrap that idea and say it's too much effort. You with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have I answered your question?
Partly, yes.
What's the part that's missing?
I guess how even thinking of the ideas of what to do. Example, I am a people magnet, right? Very effervescent. And I know that my gift is just helping people. I've been this way since I was a preteen. But finding the right thing to do in that field. Like I already have a nonprofit that helps people.
So when you say help, do you mean you solve problems?
I would say so.
Okay. Well, if you solve problems, then you've got to find a niche, or you have to find a very troublesome client.
Right.
Somebody who's fought with issues and needs a fixer. And you have to distinguish yourself because you're not the only one in that field.
Right.
So because you're not the only one in that field, you have to distinguish yourself. It's just like what I just read out. There are many people who walk dogs and look after dogs and animals, but it's quite unique for someone to actually have a service wherein they target those who are trying to get married, newlyweds, and preparing animals to go to a marriage ceremony. That's a total different field, even though it's within the field of taking care of animals. Okay, so you just need to you need to specialize, and if you focus on an area in which you can specialize, then you can trend in that area. Okay, we got 10 minutes left, so we're gonna have to move on. Silvina?
Luxury cars, well, motorhome or car storage, starting from £80 to £450 per month. Luxury car storage, so any space that you have, garage space that you don't use, you could hand that space over to someone to store their luxury car. You're talking about £250 to £900 per month. In the US, it says $300 to $1,000 per month. Seasonal items, storage for seasonal items. Some people have skis, decorations, all different kinds of things, but don't have the space to store them. You could turn your outdoor space into storage lockers, etc. So many different and like I said, you were speaking about the Airbnb up or that renting out part of your home option. But all of these things are really, it just is about, it's low stake, but it's just about whether we want to turn our hand to it. I mean, I have a garage outside that I never use. You know, will I offer it to someone? Maybe now. Maybe now with this kind of money.
And I tell you something, when I used to go to Paris more frequently back in the day, they used to have a group of guys who used to own Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And what they used to do is park these vehicles on the Champs-Élysées and offer it to the tourists, offer the tourists the opportunity to drive the car up the Champs-Élysées and back down to the bottom of the Champs-Élysées and all the way back around, maybe a 10-minute, 15-minute round trip with the Ferrari or the Lamborghini, and charge them €100. And this would be the first time somebody's been in a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, but they would charge $100 for 15 minutes. Now, they obviously have to have a good payment plan on the vehicle, okay? And they obviously have to have an insurance policy that allows for any adult over a certain age to be able to drive the car, which is where their main outlay would be, okay? So even if they were paying back on the car €5,000 a month, okay? And the insurance was costing them, say, another $1,000 a month. If they're earning €400 per hour and they worked for 6 hours a day, or call it 8 hours, because the Champs-Élysées is 24 hours. It's like Oxford Street or, you know, Trafalgar Square. It's always busy. So even if they just hired that car for say 12 hours, there was two of them and they both had a 6-hour shift, okay? A full day at €100 per hour. No, what am I talking about? €400 an hour times 12. Okay, that's €4,800 a day times 365. Sylvina, can you do the math?
8,400 times.
How much?
8,400 times 365. 3,066,000.
Okay. So even if they only done 50% at that rate, they will still earn 1.5 million for just allowing someone to drive a car for 15 minutes. Side hustle. Think about it. What would be the point of having a car like that and having it parked up most of the time if you can earn 400 euros per hour from it?
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
If you had the money, you would pay £100 to drive one of those cars for 15 minutes.
For the experience, that's right. People
Just for the experience. I've seen these all the time. That's what you'd be saying. And then you're taking your pictures, you're uploading them on Instagram.
Yes, right.
Blah, blah, blah. I guess you would, right?
That's true. That's good.
So look how much money could be made. And it doesn't have to be a Lamborghini. It could be a Tesla truck. Them big old ugly trucks. People are curious and want to look inside them and drive them.
I'm one of those people.
Right. And you would give, say, $50 for half hour. And if you were just charging $50 for half hour, and it's a set route, remember, you're going up Times Square and back down Times Square. You're not going to see your grandma. So again, these are and this was just in Paris. I used to see them do this. And up to this day, no one is doing that in the UK. Say something worthy of consideration. Okay. Are there any others quickly, Sylvina, before we run out of time?
Advertising space on your car. So offering
spiritual injection.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Yeah, that's an excellent one. Yeah.
Yeah, because you see taxis do it all the time, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And those are, I mean, there are many more, but they're not actually new. Many, many more, but they're not actually stocks and bonds and things like that, but they're not actually new. But the point that we're putting forward to you today is actually, like was said at the beginning, perceiving the need or calculating the need before it's perceived, and then offering that service. And, you know, to the degree that we will, I would say, get over ourselves is to the degree to which we can capitalize on some of these opportunities. Little bit of organization, very low threshold, you know, try something new. For these margins, it's very much worth it.
And have you noticed sometimes, you know, most of the time, every now and then we have a big clear out, don't we? You throw out clothes, you throw out old furniture, da-di-da-di-da. You even throw away old mattresses. Now, what is an old mattress to you is paradise to someone else.
It's true.
You know how many times I used to have some rental property, and every now and then you change the furniture. And you know the amount of times I've gone to just clear the house and put the stuff on the street for someone to take. And my little daughter said to me, "Dad, let me put it online." You know, and within an hour, someone's given me £30 for something I was going to throw away. Someone's given me £50 for something I was going to throw away. There was another little group, like they were fighting over the stuff because it was first come, first serve, right? So you would be surprised what you don't see. And this is just IKEA stuff and other things like that, nothing expensive. So you would be surprised what you can get for things that you just want out of your way. But if you were willing to just wait for 10 minutes or an hour or a day, you will find that you could actually find a buyer if you know what websites to go to.
Go on. And it just
even
True.
the tie you got around your neck.
Mhm.
There's
Yes, sir.
somebody
Show
who,
me
who will give you
alternative
£5 for it,
formats.
£10 for it, depending upon what the label
Show
is
me
behind it.
alternative.
Sorry.
Right.
Real talk, brother. That's true.
So again, have you ever considered having a wardrobe online where you list your items in your wardrobe that you no longer need? Because there's only 7 days in a week and you may have 30 shirts in your wardrobe. Do you need 30 shirts? Can't hear you.
Mhm.
Do you really need 20 pair of shoes?
No, sir.
Like really, do you need 20 pairs of shoes? And you
For the
don't.
ladies.
And you don't need such.
Yes,
But
sir.
you can set up a wardrobe online and just have them there. And when there's interest and somebody buys it, then you just pack it up and you send it to that person. Okay?
Yes,
And
sir.
you naturally, declutter in a natural way.
Yeah, that's right.
You could have old vinyl music, but now you're into Apple Play. Don't just give away the vinyls.
No.
There's a market for it.
Vinyl expensive.
Vinyls are very expensive.
Expensive.
Classic.
£20 for a 7-inch single.
Wow.
Right. I have a
Original
brother.
doppler.
I have a brother who has like about 200 of my vinyls. Can I get them from him?
No way.
And when family come with attitude, no, they're mine. Yours? When did that happen? But in London, possession is 9/10 of the law, right? So whoever has them in their possession is the legal owner, right? So you can't just go and gangster them and roll up at the house. You're not willing to give them back, then you've got to count it as a loss. So just before we close, you said, how do we sell CDs? You have to, sister, take time and Google these things. Everything is on Google. And once you've got a smart device and you put the right information in the search engine, it will give you options. Okay? So just Google, how do I sell CDs? The same question you put in the chat, put it in Google and see what comes up.
Mhm.
I can Google it for you, but I'm going to charge you.
Consultation.
Okay, Sylvina.
Well, that brings our conversation to an end, but on this platform at least, but as has been said, it's really for us, the whole point we do this is so that our guests can go away, including ourselves, but our guests can go away and actually apply it. So I thought someone's hands up. So it would be those of you who will be repeat attendees, keep us informed of what you have actually done. We'd like to know, because the whole point of doing this is once you engage in something like this and you begin to generate some type, no matter how small, some type of passive income that has the capacity to be scaled or to, gain momentum. When we then start to come with other opportunities or other insights or, other pieces of information that can further help to propel you closer to that, to your vision or that financial freedom that we're all in pursuit of, you'll have the finances to take advantage of it. When we come with the next masterclass, you'll have the finances to take care of it because your passive income from your online wardrobe will have paid for that. So we do want you to take advantage and keep us abreast of how you do with it.
And I'm going to add this. I was with somebody maybe a couple of years ago, and they wanted to hire a Rolls Royce. Now, I called a friend of mine, and he had a Rolls Royce for hire. But the proviso was that the owner wanted his driver to drive the car, and the person concerned wanted their own driver. So we said, okay, we'll keep the guy for one day, the driver, the owner's driver. And then on the second day, then we'll have our insurance in place and we'll use our own driver. Now, the driver's driver, the owner's driver, just was very chatty. He wasn't a driver that just drove. He was just excited about who was in the back of his car, right? So the principal hated him and wanted him out the car as soon as possible. And when I got talking to the owner and to the driver on the side, started speaking to the driver, and we were discussing, like, where did you get such a car? Like a beautiful Rolls Royce worth at least £300,000. And the driver said the owner acquired the car by owning the copyright of the name Spectre. So he had the copyright and owned and had registered the name Spectre. Then Rolls-Royce designed a car, made a car, and named it Spectre.
Wow.
So he knocked on Rolls-Royce's door and said, hey, you can't use that name. It belongs to me. They said, go away. He said, no, I'm not going away.
Wow.
Because you're using my name that I have the copyright for. To cut a long story short, they said they're not going to give him any money, but they'll give him a Rolls Royce. So they gave him not just one, they gave him 2 Rolls Royce at the value of £500,000 as settlement to use the name Spectre.
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa.
So what am I saying to you? And remember, he doesn't drive the car, he hires it out. What am I saying to you? You can go online right now and you can register a name such and such.com. You could say missionimpossible8.com. And then here comes Tom Cruise. He wants to make Mission Impossible 8. And you done this when it was Mission Impossible 1. Okay. Here comes Mission Impossible 8. And they want to secure the domain for Mission Impossible 8. But you own it. How much do you think they'll have to pay you for that?
Loads.
Wow.
That would have been the easiest money you've ever earned in your life.
Absolutely. But it can be
What
done.
does it take on your behalf?
That's right.
There are shops opening every day with silly names. Lululemon? Imagine if your name was Lululemon and you had registered that 10, 15 years ago. You know what they would have to pay you to use that name. And you wouldn't approach them whilst they've got nothing. You'll wait for the company to be huge. And when the company's huge, that's when you will pay them a visit, right?
Yes.
Because now you
Definitely.
know they can afford to pay. So be mindful, because sometimes you might overthink these things. And you might wonder why some of these companies use these, what seems like a silly name for their company. Like, would you have ever thought of naming a company Uber?
No.
Why do you think they use that name? Because probably all of the names they wanted to use were already taken. And they didn't want to purchase the name for the price it was being advertised for.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you can make a ton of money by just going to one of these social media sites and just registering names. You with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Register different names on Instagram. Then somebody wants to make a movie with that name. They're gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Like 15 years ago, if you had registered planting chips,
True.
you thought back in the day only you eat planting, right? Look at the value of the name planting chips.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Look at the value of the name bean pie.
Right.
Mhm.
Do you know, I met with members of Marcus Garvey's family, and we were trying to help them with some work they were doing to make sure that that great man's name was not written out of history or lost, because there's so much quotes of Mr. Garvey that nobody is really lifting up. And we wanted to do a marketing campaign to make t-shirts and other things with the great quotes of Mr. Garvey. And this was just, how long ago was it, Sylvina? Maybe 3 years ago?
Yeah, about 3 years ago, yeah.
And 3 years ago, when we done a search, there was nobody owned the name marcusgarvey.com. We had to register it. I think we still own it, don't we?
Yeah, Marcus.
But we didn't want it for us. It's the family's possession. But the point is, some member of another community could have come and bought that and owned our legend's name. Or the domain address at least. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes,
So
sir.
because you're going to be a great man one day and you're going to be a great woman, in preparation for your greatness, secure the domain name of your name.
Yes, sir.
Just thinking that. Yes, sir.
I was speaking to a young lady today because we're talking about income streams, and she's lived a very horrific life. Like, those kind of lives where you've gone to rock bottom, but you've come back and you still have your health and your sensibilities and your faculties in place. But if somebody heard your story of what you've been through, they wouldn't believe that you survived that. So I was with her today, and I've known her for probably 50 years. And I said to her, you are a sitting book, you're a sitting blockbuster film, and you're a sitting Netflix series. You're a book, you're a blockbuster, and you're a series. And I said to her, the challenge is, can we get this out of you whilst you're still alive? She's still in good shape. She's in very good shape. But her millions is in her. You watch these series all the time and you give them time, okay? But your story is far more intriguing than most of the stuff you watch on TV.
That's so true.
And if you had time to put some of your experiences on paper,
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
a lot more people than you think would read your testimony.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great point.
So if you work on your biography and your experience over the next year, trust me, and you get the presentation right, you'll be able to change your fortunes. What was the name of that gentleman, Sylvina, who's the great, he's the great, what is it? He's a motivational speaker, Mr. Fraser. What was his name? George Fraser?
George Fraser, yeah.
Yes.
We had a conversation. We had George Fraser on the show a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to invite him back for you. And we had a private conversation with the great George Fraser, as we just closed my last point. And he mentioned to us, we had a conversation on the power of marketing. Because there are many things all of you on the call have already done, but it didn't work out for you. So you didn't get the best returns from it. So therefore you shelved it and put it to the side. He said he wrote a book and the book only sold X amount of copies. It was nothing to write home about, but the content was great, but it never sold well. And he said what he did was just change the title of the book. He didn't change none of the content. He just changed the title of the book. And by changing the title, the book has become a bestseller on the Amazon. It's in the Amazon top, whatever, right, Sister Sylvina?
Yeah, it's also on the reading list for quite a few HBCUs and other universities. Yeah.
Right. And he arrived at that status after the book sitting on the shelf for years just by restructuring the title. How many things, dear family, how many businesses do you have, or how many, things are in your life that just needs to be rearranged? And if you rearrange them, then they become more attractive. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So
Sir.
before you go out to do something new, engage in some stock taking. Look at what you already have. Consider what you've already done and review it. And you might find value in what you've already done and what you've already got that you didn't realize the fullness thereof. So do a stock take before you go out to do something new, because you might find out you're going out looking for something that you already have. Okay? So on that note, we're going to leave you and thank you for being a wonderful audience. And I hope that you're taking something away from today of tremendous value. And you will look within yourself, look within your family, and look amongst your friends to see what you can do to start bringing in some extra income in preparation for a day that may be imminent, where the current skill set that you are now enjoying and showcasing might not necessarily be of value in a few days. So make provision to be, made obsolete in that particular form of employment, but open up new gates and new ways of expressing yourself, okay? And making yourself relevant, staying relevant.
Yes, sir.
That said, thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was amazing.
Thank you, sir.
That was a lovely discussion.
Have a great night, and we look forward to
Sister
seeing
Sylvina,
you
thank you.
tomorrow or on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
And on behalf of the
Thank you,
spiritual
brother.
injection,
Thank you.
very good night to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you enjoy our content? Well, make sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you won't miss an episode.